Welcome to Grow with Google this morning. My name is Megan McFall. I'm the director here at USU Spark, as well as the regional director for the Small Business Development Centers here in Grand and San Juan County in Utah. So I love to work with businesses and I love to work with e-commerce. E-commerce is actually my background, e-commerce and restaurants mostly. And so it is fun for me to be a part of this. We appreciate our partnership with Grow with Google and the ability to bring you these workshops. Today, we're going to be talking about selling online with e-commerce. I also like to thank our co-hosts today, the Rural Online Initiative. I know that many people on today have been part of that program or graduates are currently going through that program. It's an incredible growth program. I went through it about 18 months ago. Initially, when I went through the ROI program, I thought I knew everything about being a remote worker. I had had businesses and ran them remotely from home for years. And so I thought I knew it all, right? And then I get on that program and start working with the different softwares that they teach you and the different aspects and start working with teams and stuff like that. And I learned so much information that was so valuable. So if you are looking at becoming a remote worker, or even if you already are and your business is remote or whatever that looks like, I encourage you to look into that program and see if it can help you further whatever you are doing, because like me, I've been doing it for years and it actually became a powerful tool and taught me some things. And actually my group that I was a part of, we actually still communicate to this day. It was a lot of fun. And I enjoyed having that under my belt and to be able to partner with them now with the Grow with Google classes and many other programs that I work here at the center down here in southeastern Utah. So it's been a lot of fun to be a part and work with their team. They're an incredible resource for those that I work with here. So let's go ahead and get started today. So on our agenda, we're going to talk about why selling online is so important. It's kind of become an obvious thing here in the day and age of COVID, as businesses have been forced to shut down their brick and mortar locations. Has been kind of this overwhelming need to be online in order to sustain themselves and be able to create those revenues that have been so vitally required in order to stay in business. Next, we're going to showcase your products and how you're going to showcase those products with your business profile online. Showcase your products with your Google Merchant Center. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to teach a class, I believe it's next week. I'll have to look at that, and how to set your Merchant Center up and then sell online with Shopify. And then recap in your different resources. So those are some options for you. We're going to go through those today. So first, why sell online? So shoppers will go online first in over about a 60% rate before they shop for any occasion, which is very interesting. So if 60% of your shoppers are going to search for you online before they buy from you either in your store or online, that is a big impact to your business, okay? So having an online presence is going to be vitally important towards your business. But online shoppers will drive your in-store sales as well. Global surveys show that 45% of shoppers will buy online and then pick up in your stores. So that's another option for you, is to have that buy online, process credit cards, all of that process online, and then just show up at the store and pick up. COVID has created that need for most places to create that. But now that we are opening back up and things are getting back to normal or the new normal in most areas, most businesses are choosing to keep this process in place, realizing that it's a smoother transition for their customers within their stores, and it requires less labor within their stores as well. So essentially, it's saving them money through the process. So that's another option to be thinking about as you're creating your online marketplace. Okay, retailers need to be online. The global survey shows that 58% of purchases were prompted by something the shoppers saw online. Okay, even sales happening in the stores were actually prompted by something that happened online. And a lot of people will discount the power of having your website and the ability for your shoppers to look through your products online and then prompt them to even go into the stores and purchase. 60% of shoppers surveyed confirmed online inventory before stepping foot in the store. I'm one of those shoppers. I live in a rural area. My closest Walmart is 2 hours away. So depending on which way I'm going to drive, whether I go down to Farmington, I go to Durango, or I go north to Provo, will determine on where my inventory is. And that will determine on where my weekend trip may be, because my closest Walmart is 2 hours away, and I have to plan that stuff out. So I will confirm inventory before I shop or before I determine where I'm going to travel to make sure I can get everything that I need in one trip, because I have to plan that in detail. And it's becoming more and more so with those in urban areas as well. Okay, so where your products can be shown with Google. Okay, so we're talking about Google products. Google is kind of becoming really important on the online web. Granted, we are talking about Google, we're Grow with Google, but if you've been a part of the online e-commerce for any amount of time, I started e-commerce years and years ago. I knew Google was kind of king of the web back years and years ago. And so I became very proficient in the Google space, knowing that as I built my e-commerce businesses, that I needed to know how to be very proficient in these areas if I wanted to survive. And so Google has been amazing about coming out with incredible products that work together to be able to enhance your e-commerce space. But the best part is that they're free outside of, say, if you're paying for ads or something like that. But the actual tools and apps and things like that are free. So we're going to talk about these products and how you can create and show your products. And the first would be your Google profile, which if you have not done put your Google on Google Maps and Google Search class, get on that class if you've not done that, or if you have not updated your profile recently. Let's get on that class. I believe it's next week. I'm gonna have to check that schedule so that you are updated. What happened during COVID is Google kind of did a sweep and did COVID protocols on everybody's business. But what a lot of businesses don't know is you personally have to go in and update your business. So there's a lot of businesses out there that are marked as temporarily closed that aren't closed. How many businesses are missing out on customers because your business is marked as temporarily closed? So if you've not gone in and updated your profile, or if you've not even gone in and claimed your business, then you don't have that ability to update your store hours or to update, maybe your address is incorrect. We had one address that was off by like 10 feet, so it couldn't even come up or be traced. It was put in the intersection. And so it was very difficult just because of the stores around it to even find it on Google Maps. Those small things are impacting how your customers are finding you if you're in a brick and mortar, and you can control that on the online space. Okay, you have the Google Shop tab, you have the Shop ads, you have Google Lens, which a lot of people don't know about and don't use fully, but having that ability and you creating that for your business is important. And then your Google Images and your Google Search. So we're going to talk a little bit about most of those today. And then if we don't talk about those ones, then we'll talk about those in another class. So get on the series and we'll go over all of them at one point or another. Okay. Showcasing your products with your Google profile. Okay. So your Google profile, your business profile, is a place where retailers can add your products. They're on your business profile. So it's basically what your customer will see when they go on and either Google you, or your business shows up within a Google search in your categories or the keywords. Your products will come up in that as well, if say you're searching for a specific product. Okay, and those are those different items that will show up. So right here on this particular example that we're showing here is a spice house. The spice house has their spice house here over on the side. They've controlled their pictures that are shown here. They put that up. They controlled the hours, the operations, made sure their phone number is correct. All of that's coming up exactly the way they want it. They also put up their products that they have for sale on the individual, and they control what that looks like as well to the clients as it comes up, okay? You must first sign into Google in order to create that up. So if you have a Google email, you have access to all of these applications. If you don't have one, it's free to sign up for a Google email. You don't have to use Google, like the Google Workplace. You just can use the free a Gmail account if you have one. So if you can go ahead and sign into one. If you already have one connected to your Google Analytics, you can go ahead and utilize that. I encourage you to do that and connect them all to one email. The reason being, if you connect them all to one email, then you can connect all these pieces together and they all work together. And that's vitally important as well. Okay, so once you've signed in, you can go to Google My Business. And in Google My Business is where you can control all of these elements. It's where you can add your products. So you're in Google My Business is an app. It's in the waffle up in that far corner. You see the 9-block square up in that far corner. And you'll find My Business as one of those applications. When you go into it, you'll find your homepage, which is behind the Add Product screen there. The Add My Product is over here on the left-hand side. I'm dyslexic, so I have to think about that a little bit. Okay, and then when you click on that, you can add a product. You can choose which picture that you want. I encourage you to make sure your pictures are beautiful pictures of your product. You don't want just an offset phone picture. Your phones can take beautiful pictures. Take the time to display your products beautifully so that you can put them online. iPhones do a great job. The new Androids are doing great jobs as far as pictures, but take the time to do beautiful pictures because that's going to be the first impression that your client has. So when you add a product online, you're going to upload a picture and the product name here, okay? You're going to select the category within your business that it's going to fall under. Then you have optional settings like the price or the price range. If they range in prices, you can add a description of the product, which I highly encourage you to do because this is another area where you can use your keywords. And the keywords are so important because, again, that goes back to your SEOs and your search engine optimization for your business. So I highly encourage you to use descriptions. And next, you can add a button. Those buttons are like order online, buy now, contact for more information, things like that, so that you can basically, it's your call to action for that product. And then next would be save. And then now once you have that saved, it goes up as an option within your Google profile. So if somebody searches for spices and it's within those keywords or a specific spice, then that product will come up. You can do the same thing for your particular business or service within that same option. Okay? So how do products appear? Okay, now that your product can appear on your Google profile, your customers can essentially learn about your product, and this is how it will come up. It will have the picture, and then it'll have the information that you just put there, and then again, your call to action. This is why I encourage you, even though it's optional to add a description, I encourage you to add a description with those keywords. Again, search engine optimization, and then the call to action for your information or for your website, if that's where it links it to, whatever that looks like. Okay. So showcasing your products with the Google Merchant Center. There's one of the options is the Google Merchant Center. What it is essentially it's a tool that will help you add your store to and your product data. So it's available on Google. So once you start that, you can go into the Google Merchant Center and create that, and you add your products, your number, your SKU, things like that. We have an entirely other class that we teach how to do that. So if that is of interest to you, please take that class so that we can show you how to do that. And we can maximize that. There's enough information there that we have to have another class to be able to do that. This would be just way too long. But if you have interest or want that class, get on that class. It is scheduled in this year. So get back on Eventbrite, find out when it's scheduled, get on that. Okay. So essentially your product information will be eligible to showcase from your desktop and mobile and the results. So when somebody searches for a specific item on shop, there's the tabs across the top. One of them says shop, so they can shop for that particular item. Your product will show up as an option there. We always see the big retailers and things like that. You can compete right there with the big retailers up against there. Again, it goes back to search engine optimization and making sure that your information's up there properly. You want to make sure you have the best picture of your product. It is worth taking the time to do it right. Having beautiful pictures, search engine optimization, making sure the keywords people are searching for that type of a product or in that category or within that description are properly put in there. If you're connected to the merchant processor so they know your inventory within that, then you can go and you can compete online in your e-commerce space within the shop category, which is absolutely incredible. Okay, so this is what the shop button looks like. If they go and they're searching for something and they want to shop, they can compare prices. You go up against all of the retailers within that section and look at here. Okay, excuse me, I'm dry mouth. By clicking shop, they access all the information with all of the retailers. What was that? I thought there was a question. Sorry. Okay, so the other option is under the same section. By doing this is you can click on image. The image that you've put in for your business or for that product will come up in images. So we're working with spices here, right? So we can do spices, and all of these different spices are coming up. If we get really specific on spices, they will come up with a specific spice. Again, it goes back to that keyword and back to your description. Okay. When people look for products or specific brands, they will come up. This means that your product can be purchased directly through Google if you connect it properly. Okay. Now, lens, we talked about lens. People use lens specifically to find a specific product that they don't know what it is, but they do it based on the picture or the identity of it. So, for example, in this particular one, they found a spice. They didn't know what it was, and so they took a picture. They went to Google Lens, download the app. They took a picture of it, and based on that picture, Google searched the internet or searched all of their searches and found pictures that matched that particular product. And so your product can come up based on that, and will go with essentially come up with a search on that. That's why you want to have for your products, like in the instance of spices, you want to have a picture of what it looks like, dry, powder, open. You want to look at the container as well as maybe the nutritional facts as well. You want multiple pictures so that it will come up on Google Lens as the multiple different items so that you have multiple options to come up within that space. Okay. So shopping ads. Everybody has seen these shopping ads at the top. You're searching for something, getting some information. My last recent search was for, what was it? I think I was looking for pants, for jeans. I was searching for jeans, and I was comparing prices. So I went on Google and was comparing prices, and the shopping ads came up very first to the very, very top. Right? Has everybody wondered how you get your product there? How does it come up very, very top? Well, let's talk about that. So shopping campaigns can promote your online product to the local inventory and local inventory. Okay. So shopping ads show your product, photos, title, the price, the store name, and more, if you put it there, right across the very, very top. And you must first put your product in merchant processor. Okay, the merchant processor is an important key to all of this. And so if you don't want to do that part, then a lot of this is not going to work for you. The merchant processor to set up and get it uploaded can take a little bit of time. I'm warning you right now, it takes a little bit of time to do, but it is well worth it because you get all of these additional benefits. And the reason why they do that is they need to know the inventory. They need to know how are those products going to be available for the client if they buy it through their Google site, different things like that. And so maintaining your merchant center on Google is going to be a vital aspect as far as maintaining these options for e-commerce business, okay? Then once you have your Google Merchant Center, you have your products added within your Google My Business, okay? Then you can create a campaign with Google Ads that will put your product up at the top as a Google ad for shopping, okay? So how does Merchant Center work, okay? First, obviously, you have to create an account. You can use the Gmail account that we talked about earlier. You're going to upload your products, and then you're going to show your products across all Google platforms, okay? So let's walk through the steps, okay? Creating your account first, obviously. So let's go through that process. First, you're going to enter your business information. So obviously, you're going to need your business name so that your customers will recognize you. So if you have one identity online and one identity in your store and maybe a different identity on, say, social media, that could become a little bit of a problem. So you need to figure out where that crosses or how that's going to best work. Every once in a while, I'll have a business that'll come in and they have a store and then their store name was taken on social media. So they have a different social media name. And then because they could not get the right domain name, they have a different domain name than their store name. It's one of the reasons why when you're naming your business, you really want to take caution and making sure that it's available across all boards. So that you're able to have all your social media platforms match your business name and things like that. So make sure you create the name or the business name that your customers are going to recognize within that, okay? On your website, select the way your customers are going to check out. Are they going to go through your website? Are they just going to do it on Google? Are they just going to do it on Google or at your local store? Do they have to go to your store in order to check out? That is an option with Google, okay? So provide additional information. If you have tools such as Shopify or PayPal to check out, that's an option. Opt into email if you want them to start creating an email list, and I highly encourage that you do that. And we can talk about that we talked about that on another class, but that's a way to create an asset for your business to create more sales, to create a community of loyal fans, okay? And then ultimately you have to agree to your terms and conditions. Then ultimately you create an account, okay? Autonomy of merchant account with your other products, okay? It's going to give you an overview, your products. It is going to show you the performance, essentially the analytics of your merchant center, as well as your growth. So you're going to be able to follow that. Everything you do within your business, you need to have goals and you need to know what essentially success looks like or what you think success looks like. So you have something that you can figure out whether what you're doing is working or if you need to make adjustments. So make sure you're setting those goals for what you're doing so that you can know if what it is working, so that you can look at those analytics and say, my growth is really low. What can we do to adjust? Or, oh my goodness, this is just blowing it out of the water. We need to focus more attention here. Or we are not going to be able to keep up with our inventory at this rate, things like that. You need to be able to measure what you're doing, okay? Verify your business. Just like with Google My Business, you have to verify your business. The reason why Google does this, I get this question all the time. The reason why Google does this is so that somebody else can't come in and steal your business name and operate as though they're yours and then take that away from you. They want to make sure that this is you setting this up and not somebody else. And so they do require that you verify your business to make sure that it is you operating. The verification options are through your Google Analytics, a tag manager, or an HTML file off your website, okay? Okay, adding your products. You're adding your products. You can do individual products, or you can do multiple products, or you can do a combination of both. If you have a large store and you have multiple products and you're able to do a multiple product ad, I encourage you to do that. But when you do that, be very careful and go back and check everything and make sure everything adds right. Every once in a while, you'll get a goof and a missed inventory label or something like that. So make sure you go back and verify that everything went in right, because essentially you're uploading from a Google Sheets, a Google file. So make sure that that goes in right. The other option is adding them individually, and that can take some time if you are doing that process. So again, decide which process is best for you. If you're just doing like a quarterly add-in for an individual product, you're adding in a new 3 or 4 items, it might be better to do an individual, but your initial startup might be smart to do a multiple product ad, to do a download in, but again, go back and verify. Okay, so to add an individual product, this is the process. You look at down, this is the information that they're going to add. Okay, to do a multiple, again, you're going to have it on an Excel type file and have all that information across the board, and then you're going to download it in essentially. But make sure that you can either use a Google Sheets, a schedule, you can upload it. There's different things like that. Again, go back and verify that they all went in correctly. Okay, to finish the setup, you can finish your Google with Google Sheets. You have 2 options. You can use the template, which I highly encourage you to do because it will be less errors, or you can upload from an existing sheet. I am struggling to talk today. I apologize. Okay, so essentially this is the template of what you're going to need to upload to Google Merchant Processor. This is the type of information that will be in your POS system that you would need to upload to your POS system, and essentially they should match together. So you gather that information and then you upload it within your merchant processor so that you can line up your reports and match them together. Okay, so your product is eligible to appear on the shop tab on Google search. On the shop tab, you can do shopping ads. You can do Google image search as well as Google Lens search. So by doing this one step or adding it to Merchant Center, you are now eligible for these applications for search for your clients to purchase or to find your products online through Google this way. Okay. Now, when you're working with e-commerce, one of my favorite sites to utilize is Shopify. Reason being is Shopify will connect directly with your Merchant Center and your Google My Business, and they all work together as one. Shopify was specifically built to be an e-commerce business. And I hear all the time, well, what about Shopify for other just regular websites for other types of businesses? It's not my favorite for just a standard business website. They do have options for that. It's not my favorite for that. I get that question all the time. But it is incredible for e-commerce because of the connection. So one e-commerce option that you can utilize is Shopify. There are a lot of other ones out there. This is the one that I personally use, as well as this is the one that I find the most successful for e-commerce businesses. Okay, so an introduction into Shopify is we're going to go through a small introduction into Shopify. We're going to show you how to get started and then how to connect it with your Google account, because you have to actually connect it in order for them to talk together. Okay. So make commerce better for everyone. That's essentially what we want to do here. So on Shopify, Shopify currently has 1 million merchants. They are in about 175 different countries, and they do 155 billion with a B sales on Shopify every year. So it's incredible what they do. Okay. Offline only retailers are moving online fast. That part of that was COVID that started moving everybody to Shopify and getting online to create that e-commerce website. So Shopify allows you to sell your products on your own in a personalized e-commerce website. Okay, you have the ability to use it as a template or create your own with them as the backing. So to create an account on Shopify, you can use a free trial. Their paid plans are very reasonable for hosting your website. They also can run your merchant processing. You can bring in a third party if you want. There's things like that that are options as well, but you can get started with a free trial. You enter your email address, and then you get started by entering some business information. What are you selling, or are you ready? Are you already selling? Excuse me. What are your current revenues? And then which industries are you operating in? So basically, you're giving them your business, some business information to get started and get going. So Luis is asking, can Shopify be used to sell services rather than products? Luis, I have helped clients put services on Shopify. It is an option to do. It can go either way. It's all in how you're setting up your Shopify account. So the answer is yes, you can do that, but it's not always the best. It's all in how you create your account with Shopify, because it is a service and not a product. And so it's creating that account or that website and how you create that. It's all about your search engine optimization when you're a service and not a product with Shopify. So the answer is yes, you can do that, but it's how you create the account. And so having somebody or help you if you don't know the background on search engine optimization and creating that information is going to be huge in creating that website. So yes, the answer is yes to that. Okay, so once you get started, this is essentially your back of house and how you can operate your back of house with Shopify. Your orders, you can review your orders, your products, customers, your analytics for your Shopify website, your marketing you can do directly through your Shopify website. You can offer discounts, and then the different applications within Shopify. So to add a product to Shopify, you can easily add them. They can be physical or digital. Again, that follows into the last question that we had. They can be easily set up with variants, and then they can be built-in inventories for tracking. Again, that goes back a little bit with across into the merchant processor. You can utilize that within Shopify and then connect them together so that they talk. Okay, and then you can do grouped collections. Like for example, if you're an artisan and you have, say, necklaces, and you have multiple different types of necklaces, you might have silver and gold necklaces, you might have beaded necklaces, whatever that might look like, and you can group them into different collections. Struggling today, it's Monday, and then they can be imported as well from your different accounts. Okay, and then Shopify, you can add products. When you add products, this is essentially what their page looks like. So essentially you have your title, your description. Again, on your description, you want to make sure you're utilizing those keywords, because those are going to be very, very important when it goes back to connecting your Shopify account with Google, okay, and making sure you have those keywords for the optimization, and then obviously a beautiful picture of whatever that product is, okay? How to connect your Shopify to Google. Connecting your Shopify to Google is vitally important when you're trying to connect all this together. This is a step that gets skipped all the time, and it will basically disconnect everything that you're trying to create when connecting all of these applications together. Shopify is a third-party operator, even though they have connected and they've worked with Google and said, hey, let's create an easy pathway to connect. And they've done that on purpose. Again, we talked about in the very beginning, Google's kind of become the king of the internet when it comes to search engine optimization and analytics and things like that. So Shopify was smart in the beginning and said, hey, let's create this easy pathway. So they've done that, but we have to give them permission. Remember, our website, our e-commerce, our options. We have to give them permission. We also can take that away at any point in time. So make sure that you remember that as well, okay? So we go in and There's sales channels on that side. I don't know if you can see that. It gets a little dark, but it says sales channels. When you click on that, it'll give you different options for different sales channels. Again, this is giving them permission for them to utilize your website as a sales channel, and Google will be one of the options. You want to click that add button, so it'll come up and this will be your next screen. You want to set Google as a sales channel and sync. Okay, once you've synced them together, then they operate together. Okay, sign in with your Google account. It'll ask you to sign in again with your Google account. Again, going back to the security, they want to make sure that it's you and you're the one that's giving them the permission to sign in. So again, we go back and we sync it. We sign into our Google account. If you get that all signed in, then it's going to ask us some further questions that we need to agree to, how we're going to allow Google and Shopify to work together, essentially. Okay, and then from there, it'll ask us to feed your product sync. So then we have to say get started for product feed sync. Okay, we have to allow that. Again, there's steps to allow our product, our business, our permissions. Okay, so we got to go and hit get started. Okay, from there, your Merchant Center account, okay, that you've created, or if you have not created that yet, you need to go in and create that. And your Shopify account will work together and sync together, and they will communicate. Okay, so if you are going to your products, you're going to set up your target market. It's going to ask you, who is your ideal client? Who do your products sell best to? Okay, you're going to set that up. What country, language, feed, shipping sendings, all of that information is going to be asked within this. Okay, and then finally, your products are eligible to appear on Google. Okay, you want to connect to Google Ads. You want to connect it as a sales channel so you can do smart shopping campaigns. And then last, you want to set your budget for your smart shopping campaigns. Now, shopping, this is the part that does cost money. Obviously, if you're going to do ads, it's going to cost money. And what it's going to do, because all of these are synced together, it's going to use all of the information from the analytics from your Shopify account, from the analytics of your, if you have a separate website running through Google Analytics, it'll use that information as well. Okay, you don't have to be good to start. You just have to start to be good. It's something that goes all the way back from social media. It all goes all back to all of it. The key is the getting started. We let our fear of the unknown or our fear of not being good cripple us and keep us from getting started. Okay, go ahead and get started so that you can learn. You're going to learn new things along the way. You're not going to be perfect along the way, but you're going to learn something every single time you do something. Again, it goes back to set your goals. What does success look like so you know how to measure against it? Okay, we do go over ads and learn the basics in Google Ads. And so if you want to know more about that, I do that as a completely separate workshop because there's a lot of information there. So it is, again, it's on this series. I did all of the business ones together so that we can talk about all of those business ones. So feel free to register for that. We want to make sure that we have all of our tools in place before we try and go into ads, because if we don't have all of our tools into place first, then our ads are not going to be as impactful and we're not going to get that return on investment. So that's why I have that in a completely separate training so that you have the time to set up all of your tools first. And then we get into ads. So if you are interested in learning how to do Google Ads and having that impact on your business, go ahead and register for Learn the Basics of Google Ads. Okay, so additional resources. Whoops, wrong button. So Google My Store. If you already have an e-commerce store, whether it's Shopify or in another location, whatever, you can go to Google My Store. This is very similar to Test My Site, except it's focused for e-commerce. So Google My Store is g.co/grow my store. And then you put your website in here and then get started. What it will do is it will test your website against Google Analytics and against your SEOs and all kinds of different features, how fast your products load, all of that kind of stuff. And it'll give you a report to help you improve your site. This is a free service by Google, so that it'll help you improve your site and know exactly what you need to do to help your website or your e-commerce hit higher on the Google search. You want to be in that top 10. You want to be on that first page within your website. So this is an amazing tool, and it'll tell you exactly what you need to do or where the gaps are within your site. Okay, so local opportunity finder. Here is another great opportunity for your businesses, a local opportunity finder. It helps people find helps people find you online and helps you stay connected. So you can enter, you go to g.co, local opportunity finder, and you can enter your business name, and it'll give you the information on your business there as well and tell you how to improve it and hit that local opportunity finder there. Okay, if you want more classes like this, hitting all different areas, you don't want to wait for my classes to come up every Monday, and you want a specific option, or you don't want to wait till April when one of my classes is scheduled, you are more than welcome to go to g.co Grow on Air, where they have on-demand classes. They keep them for 1 year. And so you can go and watch all kinds of different classes and all the different categories that Grow with Google on Air falls within. And you can watch those there as well. So that is all that as part of this presentation. I'm going to go back through and answer questions. I need to bring up all the different platforms. Let me stop my share real quick. I need to bring up all the different platforms that we are live on. If you are on Zoom, feel free to put your questions in the chat, or if you feel comfortable, go ahead and ask them live. I would love to talk to you directly if you feel comfortable doing that as well. I get tired listening to my own conversations. I do 3 classes on Mondays, and so I get to hear my voice a lot. So if there's any questions, feel free to put those up. I'm going to pull up those other channels real quick and make sure there's no questions that I've missed in the comments. Quiet group last week too. At the beginning, I mentioned programs that you liked. Can you repeat the names? Programs that I liked. I don't remember what I mentioned. Was it the classes that I like to teach? In the very beginning when I was loading. Was it having to do with business or with online commerce? I'm trying to remember. If anybody can tell me, or anybody remembers what I was talking about in the beginning about programs that I liked. I need a little more direction because I'm a talker, as you can tell. I will talk about anything and everything. I'm trying to remember. Yes, I have the replay. We usually cut out the beginning, but I will go back and look because I started recording really early today. And so I will go back and look, and I will email you and tell you what I said, because I don't remember what I said. Ultimately, If it's for websites, for e-commerce, I like Shopify, and I'm not the only one that likes Shopify for e-commerce businesses. I've talked to multiple website development businesses. There's so many different options out there, but they actually like Shopify as well. There's about 6 of them that I work with in total to create websites, and several of them will actually use Shopify as the base and then build out the website off of Shopify because of the e-commerce power behind it. And then for other websites, for just other businesses that are not e-commerce based, they'll tend to use like WordPress or something like that. The biggest key when it comes to websites is you as the business owner knowing how to make adjustments and add your own products and things like that. One of the biggest things that I see for websites is that they'll hire a website development company to create their website, and then they themselves don't know how to operate it. I am guilty of this myself. I don't know how to run WordPress, and my website for my business is WordPress, and I cannot go in and make adjustments. So I'm held to WordPress. I'm held to that company, and sometimes they do that on purpose so that you have to continue to pay to have websites updated and ongoing. And I made that mistake. And so that's something that I warn businesses against doing because it can get extremely costly. So no matter what you do, I don't care if you pay somebody to build it for you, just make sure that before you take ownership of that, you take it over or finish payments, that they have shown you how to make adjustments and you know how to operate that without somebody else, because it can get extremely costly to maintain that website. So whether it's Shopify or anything else. Okay, what would you recommend as the first step to get a business on Google? And what's that Google My Business? Okay, so on that question right there is a class that I teach, and I'm looking for the date on that because that's not the first one. So on April 4th, a very long time away, I teach a class called Get Your Local Business on Google Search and Maps. I have already taught that class several times. So if you get on our YouTube channel, you can go back and watch that class. For those that are part of my SBDC center, if you come into my center and set an appointment, I will walk you through that one-on-one. So the person that asked that question, I will set an appointment with me and we will do that together, and we'll walk you through that process because it can get, for some people, it feels a little daunting. It's actually, once you know the details, it gets, it's not as overwhelming as people. It's just going through the steps and making sure that the information that you want in there, but it can be if somebody else has already claimed your business or it's already online or something like that. So get on that class or go to my YouTube channel and go through that. If for some reason you can't find that, email me and I will send you a recording so that you can watch that and then go through that process. But essentially, you need to go in and it is, oh my goodness, Google My Business, no, g.co, Google My Business, and then you will claim your business. If your business is already on like Google Maps, and at the very, very bottom, it will say, is this your business or claim business? You can just click on that and you can start the process of it that way as well, because what Google will do is it'll pick up information and put it online for the different businesses. But again, if you want help and you're one of my SBDCs, I will help you through that. If you're in Utah and you need help with that, any of our SBDC centers will help you. If you're outside of Utah, I don't mind helping anybody that has questions with that. It's just we'll have to do it over Zoom essentially. So just be prepared for that. So it can be a little bit of a process. So also be aware that they have to mail you a postcard to verify, and it has to go to a physical address. That has become an issue in our area because a lot of our area doesn't have physical addresses just because we are so rural. And so we are working, we have to go through different channels. That's why I'm telling a couple of my people to come into my office to help with that. The person that asked that question, I think is going to have to come into my office because of the physical address issue. Will you send out the replay? I generally do not send out the replay on this. I just upload it to Zoom. So if you are not to Zoom, I upload it to YouTube. So if you specifically want the replay, email me because it's not in my, it will slip my mind. It's the ADHD side of me. I apologize. Email me and ask me for it, and I will email you the YouTube link so that you have that. Okay. Can you send it to my email address? Again, email me. I will drop my email right here in the chat. Then if you email me, as soon as my assistant gets it uploaded to YouTube today, I will email whoever emails me the link to, because we have to cut out the music in the beginning and stuff like that so we don't get nailed with copyright. So I will have him upload it, get it edited, get it uploaded, and then I will email you the link, whoever emails me for a copy of this. So I have somebody along the different platforms asking where you can get the schedule. So let me get you all the links. So I upload all of my class schedule for 6 months. I have it actually planned out for a year, but I only upload 6 months in advance on Eventbrite. If you follow Eventbrite, you can get all of my schedule. I know that ROI is amazing, and they give you, or they send it out as a reminder. So let me give you this. This is the main Google Grow with Google partnership Eventbrite page that I just sent out to. I gotta send it out to everybody. Sorry, guys. I'm getting there. Okay. Okay, so everybody should have it now. So that is our main Eventbrite page. So you can go through and see all the way down. I think we have them scheduled all the way through August, if I remember right. The reason why I don't schedule all the way out is sometimes Google surprises us and gives us new content to share. And so if they do, I want to incorporate those ultimately. And so I just run through their list of amazing classes, and then I just start it all over again. But if they give us a new class, then I will add that new class in and make sure that we get everything shared on that. What is the YouTube channel? Let me pull that real quick. There's the YouTube channel, or it should be the YouTube channel. Somebody click on that and let me know that that's the YouTube channel. But we try to upload. We got behind this year. I will try and get him to catch up today. We just wrote a grant, and it took all of our time and every single second we had in the month of January. So we got behind. We will get caught up today and hopefully be able to do that. Is it recommended to sync a QuickBooks account with Merchant Center? I would not sync my QuickBooks account with Merchant Center. I don't even know that that's an option, but I would not sync my QuickBooks account to Merchant Center. Reason being, your QuickBooks account is your financials for your business. And if something got hacked, I would not want my financials out there. There's a degree of separation. That's just my personal. Cybersecurity is a huge aspect of business, and that is just a degree of separation that I would personally have in my business. So that's my recommendation, is a no. Okay. Yes, that YouTube channel works. Perfect. Okay, awesome. What other questions do we have? Did I get everybody's questions? I might have missed something somewhere. How do you book with me? So I'm getting a question on Instagram. How do you book with me? So I have online booking tools on my website, on my emails, on pretty much across the board. Let me get my website. So there's my website. Sorry, I got to do it across the board, and I forget. I leave information off for the social medias all the time, and I'm trying to get better at that. So if you go on my website under the staff, and I think that's the one that I shared was the staff directory, I have a way to book with me. My COVID expert, which she's kind of moved over to basic business consulting, has a way to book with her. And then my IT, which is my assistant, who also does website development, has a way to book with him. Across the board, we've all moved to online booking, and you'll have access to our calendars and know when we're available. And so that's the best way to book with me. If you want help getting on Google or anything like that, feel free to book with us there. That's usually the easiest way. To find out about any of our other classes, the tabs across the top, if you go to training and certifications, that's the best way to find our classes. That's where we do the Google professional certificates. Applications is right there. Our entrepreneur fundamentals is right there. Our MOS experts for the certifications there. All of that kind of stuff is listed under there. So basically all the information that you could need is right there. So I think that is all of the questions. If there's any other ones. I do have a 10 o'clock meeting, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. I appreciate everybody joining us today and all of the questions that were shared. It always makes it more fun for me to be able to share the insights and questions and to make it more tailored to your business. We appreciate everybody joining us today. We will see you next week on Grow with Google, where we will be talking about Google Analytics and how to read your Google Analytics and how to hook that up for your business. So we appreciate you joining us, and we will see you next week for Grow with Google. Have a wonderful week, everybody.